In this video, we're going to continue to work on the rear section of the chassis. Earlier, I told you about a fill-in object that I was going to create. It's a simple extrusion. I put a little bevel, or bevel, and then an edit poly above. Just a blocked out object that's going to fill in some of the negative space behind the wheels. I'm going to exit isolation now that you see it, and you can see it kind of in context. It's this gray shape right here that's below the back of the boiler, the chassis. And it just fills in that area a little bit. It shouldn't be so hollow. So let's go to left viewport. I'm going to hide that piece actually so I can see the blueprint. There we go. And we have a couple more pieces that clamp onto this. So what I want to do now is let's go to Create, Geometry, Box, Auto Grid. And roughly from here, I'm going to auto grid right on the surface. I'm going to drag out a box, give it a little depth, go to Perspective. Can see it better now. Let's just back that up a little bit. Okay. I want to make it kind of match the thickness of that beam. So I'm going to do that. Adjust it just like that. A little bit more. Drop it down. Okay, so once you have this shape, let's convert it to editable poly. And we'll do a little edge work on it here. What we're going to do is we're going to use Graphite Modeling Tools tab, Swift Loop, and I'm going to just add these in. One here, one at the other end, about the same distance. And then we'll come in a little bit here, and here, and here, and here. Let's stick one in the middle just in case we need it. I don't think we do. And then you right click to stop. And now we'll grab some polygons that we just created. We're going to make a little lip by extruding them out. Not that much. Right click it and just like that, say OK. That looks good. We can also go to Selection and Control and click on Edge and bevel or chamfer these. So let's chamfer. Right click the value. I like that. That's OK. This is just like a metal clamp that kind of attaches to the beam, and we're going to add some bolts and nuts to that. So let's grab one from right here. Make sure I have that selected. I'm going to shift and drag it down just like that as a copy. I'm going to position it a little better, zoom in, and make sure it's where I want it. It's also rotated a little, so we're going to fix that. Okay, W for move. Let's move that back. That looks good. And I think we want 5, like almost like a 5 on a die, a throwing dice. We'll do that. Let's take both and clone them back this way. Okay, and let's grab one and we'll put in the center. And in the center, top to bottom, just like that. You can rotate these. I would recommend when we're done modeling everything, you come in here and you grab all your bolts, nuts, and everything, and just randomize them a little by doing this. There we go. And now we're going to grab all 5 carefully. Grab that one and this one. Okay, and we're going to just put them back here as well. Just like that. Okay. And we're going to get some leaf springs from the front, and we're going to attach them. Our leaf spring setup will go right here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to hit F4 so I can see that the pieces get highlighted. This one. So we're going to get this whole assembly pretty much. And we may need to modify it a little, but that looks good. And now I'm going to just shift and drag that back, that whole assembly, just like that. Okay, as a copy, and then I'm going to pull it forward just like this. Zoom in. There we go. Position it better. Zoom again. Just manually moving this and rotating around my view to get the best angle to make the adjustment. Okay, that looks good. I think these brackets in the back, obviously they're going through the ground plane. They're way too long, so we'll just adjust them. I'm going to grab some vertices and move them up just like that. That's better. Same on the other, or you could clone the one you just worked on. Just pull that up just like that. F4. You can see that adds a nice little bit of detail to the model. It looks authentic. Let's continue. We're going to Come in here now. We're going to add this little detail, this cylinder there, and this little offshoot that go on top of this swing arm we just created. So let's go left viewport. And we're going to do a very simple, something we've done before. We'll do a little profile with the line tool. F3 if you need to. Come out. You can constrain with the shift key if you want to. Get perfect angle. I'm going to come out a little bit this way. F3 and down. And like that. Okay. So once you have this shape, we'll just do a lathe. It's the right axis, but we want to make it max. That's perfect. And I think 42 is way too much for this application that we're using it for. So we'll go with 22. And let's go to perspective. Take a look at that. Let's pull it out here a bit. I think the normals are flipped and they shouldn't be. That's better. Let's align it to the top of this swing arm just like that. F4. That looks pretty good. Now, of course, we can always go in, show end result, and you can fillet where you want to. Maybe one here, one there. And let's just add a fillet value. I'm going to do it by hand and put 0.2 and see if that does what I want. F4. That looks good. So with that, let's just call this swing arm piston 01. Another one of my great names. And then what we're going to do is just make this little, it's like a little cylinder. So let's do this. Select that swing arm as well. Alt and Q, top viewport. We'll zoom in and push this out a little bit. It's almost like this cylinder is an extension of it, but I'm not sure. It's hard to see in the reference. Turn off auto grid. So I'm just going to do a little cylinder. F3. Going to give a little height to it. Go to perspective, and we'll align it to the part, and just it should poke through the surface a little bit. Zoom in. It's kind of how it looks in the reference, and it's not a great photo that I used. So let's extend it, push it down a little bit just like this. Make sure it's level with the bottom, or a little beyond, and then just make sure it comes up to that top piece just like that. Okay, F4, and that looks good. Remember to save your file, just like that. And now we'll just make this clamp that kind of attaches between a couple of parts here. So what we're going to do is grab this swing arm, F3, and actually we have another section of the chassis to build, this orange piece. So let's do that. Let's Alt Q to isolate. I selected the blueprint, Alt and Q to isolate it, left viewport, zoom in, and we're going to do this very quickly with some splines. We're just going to create line, and I'm going to start here. I'm going to click. I'm going to do a little drag, click and drag right there, and click and drag right there, and so on right around. And then I'm just going to create that shape, do an extrusion or a bevel to it. And in here, same process on the bottom, just click and drag, and so on. And then out, close off the shape. We're going to come to here and come up, close it off, say yes. I'm going to go to perspective. I'm going to move this with the move tool. Turn off line. There we go. W. And let's just pull it out a little bit. And let's add a bevel. Let's try bevel first. And give it some more height. Just like that. F4. Let's exit isolation. And that's not looking too bad. I think it should be inside of this swinging piece. Like that. And I think also, let's take those two verts. That set of verts right there. Move them up so they're ahead of the outside of the chassis, just like that. And we can also come in and tweak. I see a little spot here where this curve doesn't look so good. So I'm going to extend those Bezier handles, and then I'm going to hit the up arrow and adjust. Let's see if that helped. And that looks better. Okay. The reason we had to do that before this clamp piece that I was talking about is because it's going to go from this swing arm piece, this piece, it's going to attach to that piece. So I'm going to stop the video right here, and we'll make the clamp in the next video. And I think that may conclude the chassis segment of the exercise. So I'm going to pause the video now.